So before we hop into today's video, Dad, let's do a brief promotion for our dear friends over at...
Findthebestcarprice.com/insider. Yes, nailed it. Only one take today. If you want to find the best car price, which of course you do, go to findthebestcarprice.com/insider, and Jeff and his team have aggregated all the information from all the manufacturers regarding any of the consumer rebates, things of that nature, lease specials, for all makes and models at findthebestcarprice.com/insider. Go see our friend Jeff and his team.
Very nicely done, Pops. Proud of you.
Yes, man,
You even
I'm proud
said
of me too.
aggregator, not alligator, which is a...
Well, you know. Do you know that Izod is the Greek god of little alligators? I'm sorry.
The Greek god of little alligators. They're just, you could just call them alligators just because they're little alligators.
Well, they're little. They're right on your chest.
Okay, so we are talking about today, this is a follow-up video to another video we had done. The prior video is called, former dealer explains, probably in like all caps, I forget what we did for the time. Former dealer explains why you should never go into the car business. And today we're going to do the counter argument, Dad. Former dealer explains why you should go into the car business. So share with us, Dad, if someone's out there and they're thinking, hey, I might want to make a career out of being a car salesman, what were some of the pros that came out of your 43 years doing it?
Well, believe it or not, I met an awful lot of really, really nice people. And some of them were customers, some of them were co-workers, and some of them became absolute dear friends from having spent time in the car business. As we discussed in the previous video about this, you're going to spend a lot of time if you're thinking about going into the car business. If time is not an issue for you, if you don't mind spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day at your job, and you want to be able to earn a nice living by learning a craft, because that's what selling is. Selling is a craft. It's an art form that takes a lifetime to get really good at. But if you have a desire to want to help people, want to work with people on a consultative basis, where you listen to what their wants and what their needs are, and be able to help people determine what best satisfies those wants and needs, then the car business is really a great business. You can make a nice living. Now, as you've heard me say, the average car salesperson in America today sells about 8 cars a month. If you sell 8 cars a month, you're not making a really nice living. You're probably making somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 a month. That's not a lot of money in today's world. But if you hone your craft, if you get good at your craft, if you really start to understand the psychology of selling and the psychology of being able to help people, I know people in the car business that make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 selling cars. Seems ridiculous that you can make that kind of money, but you can. So if you want to actually help people, if you want to be able to make a nice living, if you want to learn a craft, if you are willing to put in the hours, and you want to be able to provide for your family, as I used to like to tell sales candidates, my job is to provide my family all the things they don't even know that they want yet, so that when they realize they want them, I can give them to them. The car business afforded me that opportunity, and literally, I was thinking the other day, I have a customer out in Boise, Idaho. Arnold, I won't mention his last name. Arnold's, I guess, probably 92 or 93 these days.
Former customer, right? Like when you used to work in
former customer, yeah. A former customer of mine when I was at Acura North Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona.
So this is from like 05, right?
This is from, God, I don't know. I first met Arnold in the early 2000s, and we became friendly. And I mean, he used to show up at the dealership. He would have a sandwich for me. We'd sit down. We'd chat. I mean, I wasn't selling him anything. We would just chat. We would, he would come in and spend time with us. We became friends. He calls and checks on me occasionally. I call and check on him occasionally. And I have lots of stories about customers like Arnold who became more than customers. They became an important part of my life, almost like an extended family.
Were the Pogashevskis the people that, like, after your parents passed away, that became like a second set of parents? Didn't you meet them through the car business, or am I mistaken?
Well, the Pogashevskis owned Admiral Nissan. It was the Kaisermans.
The Kaisermans.
When I sold Harry and Leona their first Nissan, or it might have been a Datsun back then, and they became literally like a second set of parents to me. Leona is the one that introduced me to your mother, that she insisted. She called me and she said, "Here's Suzanne's number. You're going to call her." I said, "I'm not interested." She said, "I don't care if you're interested or not. You're going to call her." And she nudged me until I called her.
Like a good mother would.
like a good mother would. And, it kind of worked out. And literally, when your mother and I were building a new house and we had sold our other house and we needed some place to stay for like 6 or 8 weeks, Harry and Leona let us move in with them, didn't charge us a dime, gave us a room in their house, and we hung out with them for 2 months. And literally, at the wedding, they gave me away. I think Harry actually walked me down the aisle, or Leona walked me down the aisle. They became family to me. And I would have never met them had I not been in the car business.
Which I think partly speaks volumes to the type of person that you are. In any situation you would have been in, you've always been personable and be able to make those connections, which speaks volumes also to your points about making money in the car business. If you're personable, if you take your craft seriously, if you're willing to learn, all things that maybe not take things seriously as a trait of you, but you know what I'm trying to say. And you do obviously take things seriously.
I do.
You just know how to have a good time with it. But you would have made those relationships and connections, but the car business afforded you that opportunity because every day you were meeting new and interesting people. And some of those people, you had lost your parents at a young age. These people became your second set of parents, and they introduced you to my mom. And and you can attribute that back to, sure, Ray Shupska, the great guy that he is, but also he was in the right place at the right time, and the car business gave that to you. I wonder, though, Dad, things I feel like have changed from when you were working. But I guess Arnold, who you were mentioning, he's from the early 2000s. I don't know. I feel like the car business was in a different era back then, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Well, I started in the 70s, in the late 70s. And it was a different era back then. There wasn't anything in regards to customer satisfaction. I remember one of the earliest things I remember is we had customers that wanted to buy a car and they weren't really in a financial position to do so, but the way to do it was for them to use their home and to get like a second mortgage in order to buy the car. Those are things that were common back in the late 70s. Today, nobody would do that. Well, I shouldn't say nobody would do that. The dealer wouldn't institute that. The customers do it on their own. Back in the day, if somebody didn't have a down payment, we would make arrangements for them with a small loan company like Household Finance or Beneficial, and we would get them a small loan for their down payment so they could satisfy the bank for the bigger loan for the car. But those are practices from, days of old.
Both the practices and also I feel like the nostalgia aspect of the 70s and the 80s, and people might have people always thought of car salespeople as car salespeople, but a little different. You used to wear suits and stuff to the dealership, right? Used to be a bit different.
I used to get dressed up. Dressed up for me today as a black Eddie Bauer t-shirt. Listen, you know what the car business was like for me. when we were in the Baltimore area, and I was helping to run the mini store, and we would do events for our customers, and those were some of the best times, and you know, you couldn't find a more disparate range of people than what we had at the mini store, from you know, teenagers up into their 80s, and yet they could all seem to get together and enjoy each other's company, and we had some great. I still have some people that are still in touch with me from the mini store all these years later. The car business afforded me a way to be able to provide for my family and to, I don't know, ultimately make me a better human being. Which sounds odd because, you know, you don't think of people in the car business as being nice human beings, but I met a lot of nice people that I cared about. The 1 year at the mini store where I convinced ownership to not spend as much money on advertising so that we could donate money in every customer's name. Okay, if you bought a car at the mini store, we donated $50 in your name to the Children's Hospital at Johns Hopkins, because our slogan was taking care of the most important mini of them all, our kids. That was something that, as ownership said to me, says this could be a legacy. That, you know, you really are helping us institute something that literally can be life-changing for people. So, yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot of good things you can do when you're in the car business. There's an awful lot of things that happen in the car business. But truly, I think if you're working for the right people, the good outweighs the bad. It really, really does.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said, Dad. And if you're out there and you're wondering, yeah, maybe I want to go into the car business, hopefully my dad can be a bit of a, I don't know, mentor from afar for you in terms of what that can turn out to. I mean, you spent 40 plus years doing it. You got me, you know, through you raised 2 kids. You had, you know, nice family. Two
kids, 3 dogs.
Yeah, lots of dogs.
Yeah. We raised them all, buddy.
Yeah. All right, Pop. So I appreciate you sharing some stories, and I think this is a nice counterbalance to that other video we did about why you shouldn't go into the car business. You get both ends of this, different perspectives, but from the same set of eyes. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Hey, man, I'm just glad people watch these YouTube videos. It's kind of crazy to me, but this is what it is. I love it.
Well, it's even crazier to me, but that's only because I'm so old and I still don't understand why people do it. But thank you all for doing it.
Eddie Bauer, we're coming for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they're coming for us. One of the two.
See ya, honey.